Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda. I have got it organized here. It's Wednesday, so we're going to spend Wednesdays with Will. I'm actually filming this on Tuesday, which is Talk Like Shakespeare Day, so it's all appropriate. But I'm talking about this month's play, which is Coriolanus. So this was not a draw from the box because I am seeing a production of this the beginning of May, so I wanted to read it in April. Housekeeping, by the way, before I go any further. We're not doing a play for May. We won't do one in December, but I will draw the June play the second Wednesday in May, which I think is the 8th, but I'm not sure. You know, it's the second Wednesday. So what is this play about? First of all, I did a tandem read of this, so I listened to it as I read it. And I really feel that that was necessary for me for this book. And I still feel there's a lot that I kind of still need to digest and still need to understand. It's not even so much that it's more complicated. It's just, I think that there's more layers to this than there are to some of the other ones that we have read. So this is a very political play. It is set in the Roman Empire. It is based on a real person whose name was, well, here he's Caius Marcius, and he's a military leader. And after he wins a battle against the some things, they add Coriolanus to his name. So where that comes from. Now, the thing about Coriolanus is he's kind of a dick. He's military genius, but he's not very nice to people. And the general citizenry, and I use that like lowercase c because I know citizenship in Rome is a thing. I mean, that's a specific thing, but I'm saying like the general populace. He doesn't treat them very well, and they don't like him, and so they kind of decide they're going to do away with him. And he runs to save his life, and then he joins forces with I believe the people that he just defeated. I'm gonna look this up here. It's been a couple weeks since I read this, and there's lots of battles. No, he joins up with the Volscians, not the Vulcans, the Volscians. And then, as their leader, he's going to attack Rome. And then they say, please, please don't attack us, because he's a general. He's still a dick, but they do know he's a general. So they convince him not to attack Rome. They bring him back to Rome, and then people kill him. That is the very, very short version of Coriolanus. And I'm not trying to do a disservice by doing that. I just feel like there's so much depth to this play that I don't want to get into it because I don't feel that I have fully explored it yet. As of right now, April 23rd, Talk Like Shakespeare Day. I have not seen an adaptation of this. I am planning to see an adaptation. I want to see a filmed adaptation starring Ralph Fiennes as Coriolanus. And then in May, the first Saturday in May, I'm going to go see a production at the Portland Center Stage of this, done all by women and non-binary actors. However, I'm going with Bookish Best Friend, and she told me she thinks it's actually translated into modern language. So it's not going to be exactly this play. And also it's movement based. So we'll see what that's going to be like. I did like this play, and I feel like it's a really kind of interesting play to read right now in our present time, because there's no one-to-one here. There's no like direct match, but just the idea of leadership and how you treat those who support you, and supporting different people, and how, you know, we treat there's just a lot to explore and kind of think about, and kind of maybe transfer those thoughts to our present day. So that is Coriolanus. Now, here's the thing with Coriolanus. When I went to do my rankings, I think I may have found a flaw in my rankings, but we'll see. Let me pull them up. So this is the 4th play I've read. And let me go through the rankings. I gave it an overall rating of a B+, which is 3.5. Again, it's maybe because I haven't fully digested it. As for reputation, I gave it a 2.5. And this is where I think that there might be a flaw in my rankings, because it's almost being docked just for not being known. And I think it's not known as well because it is a more complicated and more complex play, which isn't a bad thing. So I don't know. We're going to put that there. In December, I'm going to do a state of the rankings, and we'll kind of talk about all this again when I have like 10 plays to talk about. But so I gave this a C+ or 2.5 points for reputation, because I'd heard of it, but I didn't know anything about it. Ease, I gave it 3 points. Again, it's not that this is a hard play to understand. The actual actions of the play are pretty easy to follow. It's just that there are so many layers to what is going on that makes it a complex play. So I kind of went middle of the road and gave this 3 points. For characters, I gave 4 points. There are some fun characters in here. There's 3 female characters. They all have their names all start with V, which I thought was interesting, but they have great names. The main one is Volumnia. She is Coriolanus' mother. And then Virgilia is his wife. She mostly just cries a lot. And then there's Valeria, who's just a friend. But Volumnia is a great character. I don't understand why Virgilia is not a great character, but Volumnia is a great character. One of the great strengths of this book, and why I did give it a 4, is that there are some very complex characters in it. Poetry, there weren't any lines that popped out to me that I'm like, oh, I know that line. But I did feel that it flowed really well. The language for what it was appropriately poetic. And what I seem like that is when they're talking about killing someone, they aren't being flowery, but they can at other times. So like you're getting different kinds of poetry in with it. And when I see this, I gave that a 4, which is, yes, I would go see a local production of it because I'm going to go see a local production of it. So yeah, this is like the most true rating of it all. It's a 4. So that gives me a subtotal of 21. And then I do my deduction, which is the of its time deduction, which is there anything in here where you're like, oh, yeah, that didn't age well? And I gave it, I'm not going to give anything 0 points because I do think that just these plays are 400 years old, 500 years old, 420 years old. And, there are going to be things that just, because they're kind of like not in our time anymore. But I only gave this 1 point because I didn't see anything really objectionable about it. Now there are going to be some plays where you're like, ooh, yeah, see where Agatha Christie's in the same, same place you are, but this was not one of them. So only 1 point. And this gave me a total of 20 points. And so when I look at my rankings for the 4 plays that I have, in 4th place, I have The Winter's Tale with 12 points. And then I have a 2-way tie for The Merry Wives of Windsor and Coriolanus. And then I have Henry IV, Part 1. So I'm really torn here because I actually think that Coriolanus is a better play than Henry IV, Part 1. I think Henry IV, Part 1 is an easier play. It was easier. It was more entertaining because it was easier. But I don't think it was the same, let's say, work of art that Coriolanus is. So we're going to have to do, I think I'm going to add every December, I'll do a state of the rankings and do some kind of adjustment. I'll figure it out. I've got months to figure it out. But yeah, I think this really suffered in the actual just raw number by the fact that it's not a well-known play. And I kind of think it should be a well-known play because it is, as I said, of the 4 plays that I have read, which is not great. It's not a great comparison considering there's only 4 plays and the 4 plays I've read, but this is the one that seems most applicable to our current day. So I do recommend giving Coriolanus a try. I also very strongly recommend, especially if you have, Shakespeare's not easy for you to get an audiobook version of it and listen to it as you read it. It does make things a lot easier. And there's no shame in watching an adaptation. Even if you watch the adaptation then read it, there's no shame in that. Do what works for you. But I do think this is a really worthwhile play that I think probably deserves to be. I don't know. I'm kind of perplexed by the way my rankings have come out, but we'll adjust that later. Anyway, so I will come back and talk about Coriolanus again at least one more time. So I will come back and talk about it after I see the Portland Center stage production. I'm also planning to see if I can find it, that Ralph Fiennes production. I might talk about both those in the same video. I might talk them in 2 different videos. I have all of May to do. So yeah. Now, one more little surprise for y'all. Not a surprise, just a little something extra. As today, the day I'm recording this, is Talk Like Shakespeare Day. I pulled out my Everyday Shakespeare. Now, the day you're seeing this is the day after Talk Like Shakespeare Day. So I'm going to read you today, April 24th's entry. Well, first let me read you April 23rd's entry. So this is for Talk Like Shakespeare Day. And it is from Othello. But words are words. I never yet did hear that the bruised heart was pierced through the ear. Which is kind of pretty. And they talk about what it means. And Yeah. So talks about words. So let's see what today's is. Today's as in the day you're reading it, which is from Antony and Cleopatra, a play I have not read nor seen, but I know who Antony and Cleopatra are. I know the basic story. I do not much dislike the matter, but the manner of his speech. So it's not what they said, but the way they said it. That's what today, if you're watching this on the day of release, April 24th, that's your quote for the day. I do not much dislike the matter, but the manner of his speech. I'm going to use that one. That's also easy to remember. So happy Talk Like Shakespeare Day. Check out Coriolanus if you haven't already. Talk to you later.